Freya Mortensen back again to give you some more perspective and insights on how to live a more conscious life. And today I'm going to tell you about 3 phrases that you might want to consider removing from your vocabulary. Our words really carry energy and an unconscious meaning behind our words. So when you start to change the language that you use, then you start to change the energy that you carry and the energy that you're emitting to others and within yourself. So here's my top 3, and you're not going to want to miss the last one, okay? It's the most important and might even be the most controversial. But the first one, the first phrase that I want you to remove from your vocabulary is the word at least, okay? Now, when you say at least, this gives a person that you're talking to, or even to yourself, it devalues, it invalidates, okay? And a lot of these phrases that I'm going to be telling you about are invalidating and are of low energy, low vibration that they're emitting. Someone's telling you a problem or a dilemma that they're experiencing, and you go into problem-solving mode with them, because yes, I know, sometimes we have a tendency to do that. Go into problem-solving mode with them, and you want them to feel better, right? You just want them to feel better about their situation. So you say to them something like, well, at least you're getting some money back on it, or at least you still have a roof over your head, or at least you didn't suffer like I did, or at least you didn't have what happened to my neighbor happen to you, okay? We've all said these things, right? I mean, it's fine to say these things, but save it for the end of the conversation. The primary goal when you're communicating with someone, and even if you're communicating with yourself, is to validate instead of invalidate. So when you're saying at least, that's invalidating. It's an invalidating statement that you put out there to shut the conversation down, and the disclosure and the saying, well, at least blah, blah, blah. Okay, at least it wasn't like this. Listen, take some time to listen first. Catch yourself when you want to say the at least thing, and save it for the end. Save it for the end if you really must, okay? But if you can avoid it altogether, even better. Same goes with saying it could be worse. Oh, it could be worse, okay? It could be worse. And the at least. Keep those in mind. Be more conscious of those statements because they're invalidating and carry a low energy, and they dismiss what the other person is telling you. Okay. Number 2, the next phrase that you need to remove from your vocabulary is the word should. You should. I should. We should. Everyone should. Listen to how many times you say the word should. Okay? I bet you say it all the time and you don't even notice. But what happens when you say should? What happens is that it leads to guilt. I really should exercise more, but I'm not. So what does that say about me? It means I'm lazy and unmotivated. When you say I should, it means that you're not doing something, and it creates guilt or shame about why you're not doing this thing. So the next time you say I should, catch yourself and instead ask yourself this: do I want to? Oh, I really should shovel the snow before it gets too heavy. This turns into a need. I need to shovel the snow before it gets too heavy. So I will. The difference here is replacing the word should with need or want. Sometimes we don't always want to shovel the snow before it gets too heavy, but we know we need to. Sometimes I don't want to make a certain phone call, but I know I need to make that phone call. So that gets me in a different energy. That gets me in a motivating energy, in a prioritizing energy, instead of the shoulding, which is very guilt and shaming energy. I should go to the gym today, but I don't want to. And I really don't need to, because instead I need to do something restorative. So I'll do a guided meditation. So you might be telling yourself that you should do something. I should go to the gym, but I don't want to. And you know what? I don't need to. But I do need to do something else that's restorative for my body. What do I want to do? And then what will I do? I should get better at budgeting and saving money. Well, this is actually a need, right? Getting better at budgeting and saving money. Never should yourself on that. So change your speech to say, I need to work on budgeting myself and saving money. So I will. And then this moves you into action instead of that guilt and shame. I should do this, but I don't know how. I need to do this, so I need to ask for help. So I will go and find someone to help me with this. You see the difference in just the energy that it puts out. One is motivating, one is feeling really guilty. One builds motivation, the other builds shame and guilt. One moves you into action, the other keeps you frozen in procrastination. It's about priorities. Okay, it's all about priorities. And if you've struggled with procrastination, then you need to go and check out that other video I did on how to eliminate procrastination. So just stop shoulding on yourself, stop shoulding on others, and take it from the perspective and the lens of what you want to do, what you need to do, and asking yourself if you will. Okay, will you or won't you? Let's get to it. All right, finally, the third one here. Now, this one you might be a little bit upset with me about, okay? This last phrase that you need to remove from your vocabulary is, I'm sorry. Yes, I said it. I'm sorry. Let's stop saying sorry to a certain degree, okay? Now, first, there's the response that we give to other people when they tell us that they're sad or they had a hard day, or we say it in response to if we've hurt their feelings. Now, there's a part of the I'm sorry that we have to be really careful with. I'm just going to go off on a little side road here to talk about. I'm sorry you feel that way, or I'm sorry that happened to you. Okay, no, please don't ever be sorry for my feelings, and don't ever be sorry for what happened to me. Instead, I just want to be heard. Okay, this is another thing about validating or invalidating our experiences and our emotions. Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. Sorry that happened to you. Yeah, well, it did. There's nothing we can do about it. This is, again, right? Like I said, it's another thing that we say to one another. We just do it. It's unconsciously creating invalidation in other people's experiences. You never need to be sorry for feeling a certain way. But somewhere in history, we were given this saying, oh, I'm sorry you're feeling like that. And we all say it. There's better things to say. And this just doesn't hit the same. I know, because consciously, we're most used to having our normalized, invalidating responses. We're used to saying these automatic, oh, I'm sorry, right? It's very unconscious. Like, well, what are we really sorry about? Instead, I want you to consider thank you. Replacing sorry with thank you whenever possible, okay? Because there's so much more positive energy in gratitude and saying the word thank you than in saying sorry. So instead of saying sorry you're feeling that way, we can say thank you for sharing your feelings with me. Or we can start to ask questions. What has you feeling this way? How long have you been feeling this way? This allows you to be present and allow the person to be with their feelings instead of, oh, I'm sorry you're having that feeling. We're allowed to have feelings. Letting people know, hey, I'm here if you need me. I'm listening. Instead of invalidating them and shooing them away with the, well, I'm sorry you feel that way statement. Listen, I'm a Canadian, and they say that we're all the politest country because we're known for saying sorry all the time. But in reality, We're just all over here fawning and people pleasing and saying what people want to hear instead of what people need to hear, right? We can even attach the should onto the sorry. You should say sorry. You really need to go and you should say sorry to that person. Do you need to say sorry? Do you want to say sorry? Do you even know what you're saying sorry for? You should say you're sorry, but do I need to say sorry? Well, that's another story. And before we even read that story, I want to tell you a new one. Because instead we need to work on saying thank you. More thank you, more gratitude. Remember, sorry is a very low energy, low vibration, whereas thank you is much higher on the vibrational frequency scale. Yes, sorry is easy. Sorry is just something that comes off the tongue, while saying thank you, it takes more thought and effort. Okay, just in general, the word sorry is unhelpful. Just because we have all of these words doesn't mean we have to keep saying them. You need to apologize for what you did. You need to say sorry to that man for bumping into him. Hello, man. I didn't notice you there, and I bumped into you. I hope you're okay. Because saying thank you doesn't really apply there. But just being more present, right? Having a more present attitude. Sometimes sorry is appropriate. Sometimes it does go over okay. But just raising your conscious awareness of when you're saying sorry, and is it validating or invalidating? Okay, because saying sorry is done in a very unconscious way. But when you turn your sorry into a thank you, like I said, it's much more difficult, but it's also much more thoughtful and contains a deeper intention so that you're learning about the mistake that you're actually saying sorry for. Because we all make mistakes. And, you know, to say sorry for making a mistake seems like the right thing to say, doesn't it? But what's better is saying, thank you for pointing that out to me, because now I'm more aware and I can take action to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Thank you for letting me know. And if it does happen again, thank you for having patience with me while I'm still learning this and working on myself. You really matter to me, and our relationship matters to me. So there's more thought that has to be generated when you're saying thank you. Okay, we don't need to be sorry for our mistakes either. And we don't need to make other people sorry for their mistakes, because mistakes is part of life and it's how we learn and it's how we grow. So we want to say thank you for letting me know. Because to say sorry for mistakes, again, this creates the shame and guilt. So let's hold each other accountable. Yeah, let's hold each other accountable. But let's also give people an opportunity to learn, right? And be thankful for these mistakes along the way, because mistakes is how we learn, and mistakes is how we grow. If I can offer a little story here, you know, working in the criminal justice system for 20 years, I know that in order for the judge to consider giving you the lesser sentence, you have to show a sign of remorse. Showing remorse is that guilt. That is what I believe is wrong with the criminal justice system. So much judgment and not enough giving space for opportunities to learn. I know this is not all of these cases, but the majority of them, instead of showing remorse by saying sorry, we need to look at showing what you learned through the mistake. What did this teach you? What did you learn about yourself as a result? Well, Your Honor, this offense really highlighted how much I need to work on myself and understand the deeper roots to my anger. Can you imagine? People who are making mistakes and ones that are deemed criminal by society, I mean, they've already faced a lifetime of shame and guilt, and going through the process of showing remorse further instills that shame and really does nothing to repair that damaged part of them that brought on this behavior in the first place. So that is it, guys. So remember, be mindful of your shoulding. Don't should on yourself. And be mindful of saying at least these invalidating statements. And try your best whenever possible to turn your sorries into thank yous. Until next time, thanks for subscribing and following. Make sure you like and comment as well. Always love to hear your thoughts on my videos. Take care, guys.